Tony came to me skinny fat and wanted help. This is physique in under 4 months later. In this video, I'm going to explain what we did to get him there. When Tony came to me, he was not confident in his physique. He was mentally in a foggy place, just wasn't feeling healthy. He was feeling sluggish, not motivated, had some struggles with relationships, things like that. And he had been to a place before to where he'd been leaner, more athletic, had visible abs. And he's like, I want to get back to that place, but even better this time. When we were on the call, we talked about his dreams. We talked about what he wanted for his life, to make more money, to get his dream car, to, build these higher quality relationships with other people, and to, build a body that when people look at it, they respect. Here's what we did to transform his physique and also transform his mindset along the way. So number one is going to be some sort of resistance training. Muscle growth comes from resistance training. And not only that, muscle growth truly happens in response to the last few final reps of training. So we would make sure to take our sets to failure. And Tony was new to training, so he was able to handle a much higher volume approach. Even though he's training to failure with longer rest times, he was responding very well to the higher volume approaches. And also, everybody's a little bit different. Some people, even off the bat, need lower volume. He responded to higher volume, so we kept him there. Keep in mind, Tony's skinny fat. Yeah, he built a lot of muscle. His lifts were shooting up. He'd send videos over for me to critique. And, we even did some one-on-one calls where, he would use his one-on-one calls in the gym. So that way it was like a literal training session. So that's what I did with Tony to make sure his form was locked in. He was super motivated to build his body, and along with that, everything else started to manifest and unfold in his life. Now, whenever it comes to being skinny fat, you can train properly and you're going to build muscle, right? But he lost over 20 pounds of fat during this period of time. What was he doing? That doesn't just happen from lifting weights, right? That happens more from nutrition. So Tony was super motivated, and he was able to have a really low calorie number because, number one, he was willing to do a lot of cardio. And then number two, Tony was willing to have a high protein intake. Now, of course, there were days he fell off. That is completely normal, and that's part of the plan, right? Like, we don't plan to mess up, but we set the plan to have some leeway for whenever you do mess up, because nobody's going to be 100% perfect. And when you're making fast results like this, we took more of a drastic approach because he is that type of person, right? Yeah, along this way, he didn't hit every single day, didn't hit his goals every day. But what he did is we worked on making his goals enjoyable, the process enjoyable. So certain foods, like he had a chicken parmesan that he would eat, which was super high in protein and really low in calories. Another thing could be, certain types of burgers he could eat, right? So, with lean meat, cheese that's higher in protein, lower in calories, stuff like that, lower calorie sauces. We got creative with recipes higher in protein, lower in calories, and made sure we hit our fat goal to regulate our hormones. Now, while this was happening, he actually was working harder at work. He started putting in more and more hours, making more money. Eventually, he went on to buy his dream car that we talked about at the start of the call months back. And then his relationship started getting better. Whenever he went outside, went to the beach, girls were looking at him. These things started to improve his mentality, his confidence, and it all started with his body and seeing his body change. He also made more friends at the gym, right? So motivated people he started connecting with, all due to changing his body. So if you're in a similar position to where Tony was whenever he first started, low on confidence, was in shape previously, or maybe you've never been in shape, but you want to get in shape, you want a physique that people respect, you want to feel more confident and have your physique and your body and your strength transfer to other areas in your life, that same mentality, book a call with my team. On the call, we're going to see if these methods can help you, and if they can, you'll burn body fat and pack on muscle and transform your physique in 90 days or less. So now you can start getting in the best shape in your life, mentally and physically.